gratitude for the trust and confidence you have placed in me to lead this esteemed group of dedicated professionals in our collective efforts to combat cybercrime across the continent. Cybercrime poses a significant threat to our societies, economies, and security, and it is imperative that we work together to address this growing challenge. As the chairman, I am committed to lead from the front, fostering the much desired collaboration among our member units to enhance our collective ability to prevent and investigate cybercrimes effectively in Africa. I consider this as a call to champion the enthronement of a new charter of technological renaissance and homegrown cybersecurity ethics in Africa, and a paradigm shift from absolute dependency on external solutions to African nurtured technological initiatives adaptive to our socio-political ecosystem. This is achievable by harnessing and leveraging our inherent collective expertise and resource through a common political will. We can make significant strides as Africans in combating cybercrime and creating a safer digital environment for all Africans. Together, we can stay ahead of the evolving threats posed by cybercriminals and protect our citizens from harm. With the fourth industrial revolution and emergence of artificial intelligence and Internet of Things, the undeniable reality is that the global cyberspace is undergoing profound and rapid changes, given the penetration of new technologies and growing interconnection of the system. Through this evolution offers opportunities for innovations, diversifications, and cost optimization. It also carries with it increased exposure to a new devastating risk of imminent cyber attacks. These attacks permeate and affect the entire global digital ecosystem. Equally, no exception to generic bells, hence but affects businesses of all sizes, both in public and private sectors, in all regions, at a breakneck speed. Distinguished colleagues, the high penetration rate of new technologies in Africa increasingly exposes the sub-regional cyberspace as potential targets for cybercriminals, as most African countries still have low-level commitment to cybersecurity. It is important that we join the operational subgroups created by Interpol to bolster our collective efficiency in the fight against cybercrime in the sub-region. The level of information and intelligence sharing among African law enforcement is still at its lowest ebb, largely blamed on extant domestic laws. I advocate for the establishment of African incident response mechanism and cybersecurity frameworks on police-to-police basis to eliminate the bottlenecks impeding free flow of resources. We must leverage the Interpol NCB I-24/7 communication network and existing capabilities with regards to sharing of classified intelligence. One, establishment of specialized cybercrime units. It is rather unfortunate that most African countries do not have a specialized cybercrime units dedicated for the investigation of cybercrime and cyber-enabled crime. I implore member states to understudy the Nigerian police model of the Nigerian Police Force National Cybercrime Center, NPF, NCCC. Investment in technology, infrastructure, and capacity building, it must succeed. Therefore, be a deliberate effort by member states to make the multi-million-dollar commitment in acquiring the much-needed technology and digital solutions as a prelude to efficient cybercrime response and prevention. We must begin to look inwards to develop our indigenous technologies to address our peculiar socio-cultural challenges. Legislative support. We must work together to push the advocacy and lobby the government to work together to push the advocacy and regulations that addresses cybercrime effectively. This includes laws, data protection, online privacy, electronic transactions, and cybercrime prevention. While looking forward to working closely with you, my wonderful colleagues, heads of African cybercrime units, to advance our shared goals and objectives. Let us stand united in our resolve to uphold the rule of law, protect our communities, and ensure that justice is served in the digital realm.
Acknowledging the need for national, regional, and international law enforcement, private partners, and CERTs to work together to avoid duplication and maximize return on efforts put into reducing cybercrime. Recalling previous recommendations adopted during the 9th Africa Working Group meeting on cybercrime for heads of units in Kigali, Rwanda from the 18th to the 22nd of July 2022, on enhancing international cooperation, upgrading legislation frameworks, conducting awareness campaigns, and improving operability of member countries in the fight against cybercrime. Further recommendations are needed to the extent visible that now we have about 8 recommendations which we have noted. That is the first recommendation. Member countries should continue working with relevant judicial bodies to ratify relevant cybercrime conventions and legislations needed to be aligned with the evolving cyber threats to effectively prosecute cyber criminals. Let's go quickly up to the end, then we come back and so that you can check whether you have any comment on the first, second, or whatever, so that you cannot repeat what maybe is already said in the recommendation. Second recommendation is that Interpol and member countries should conduct global and local awareness campaign to sensitize individuals and companies about the risk of cybercrime and the measures they can take to make cyberspace safer. That's the second recommendation. Third recommendation, Interpol policing capabilities be optimized to address cybercrime cases, including Interpol notices and diffusions. Cyber activities reports, cybercrime collaborative platforms, Africa Joint Operational Framework, as well as specialized assistance for capacity building, investigative, and operational support. Number 4, Interpol member countries and stakeholders should invest in training programs and resources to enhance cybercrime investigation and prosecution capabilities for law enforcement agencies and judicial bodies across the continent. Additionally, Interpol should explore ways to ensure that technology companies provide platforms or solutions for cybercrime investigation fully support African countries. 5, collaboration or partnership be fostered between Interpol, member countries, computer emergency response teams, and private partners in order to facilitate sharing of information and best practices.
That a pathway to the future of cybersecurity in Africa is being collectively forged with determination and collaboration. Having over 120 participants across 54 African countries and beyond, engaging over the 5 days is not only commendable but inspiring, because it gives us hope, confidence in the safety of our African digital space and the prosperity of our nations and citizens. As you may be aware, cybersecurity has emerged as a critical issue, not just for Nigeria, but for the entire continent and the world at large. The rapid advancement of the technology has brought unprecedented opportunities for the development and progress, but it has also exposed us to new risks and vulnerabilities. As we witness the increasing digitalization of our economies and societies, it is important that we strengthen our cybersecurity framework to mitigate this risk effectively. Cybercrime is boundless. This means that collaboration is not an option, but a must. This working group meeting is therefore a clear demonstration of the imperative, and as a country, we are grateful. The government of Nigeria is fully committed to reforming our Nigerian police force, recognizing that cybersecurity is an integral component of our national security agenda. We understand that a secure cyberspace is essential for our immediate and long-term development objectives. Therefore, we are dedicated to enhancing our cybersecurity capabilities, investing in the necessary resources, and foster collaboration both domestically and internationally. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, let me make bold to say that under the leadership of our visionary leader and president, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we have made a commitment to support the emergence of an inclusive, community-based, intelligence-led, technology-driven, and more responsive Nigerian police force. We are championing a renewed hope agenda, police agenda, and transformation roadmap to redefine and reposition policing in Nigeria as a paragon of excellence. Consistent with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President, we are working assiduously to move beyond mere conversations to working with key stakeholders to strengthen the Nigeria cybersecurity legal and regulatory frameworks. We are working to enhance the provision of these requisite tools, equipment, and facilities to strengthen the cybersecurity architecture of the Nigerian police force, and we remain committed to regional and international cooperation mechanisms. We have a clear appreciation that collaboration is key in our fight against cybercrime. No single country can tackle this challenge alone. We must strengthen our partnerships, share intelligence, knowledge, and best practices, and coordinate our efforts to address the transitional nature of cyber threats. Nigeria stands ready to play its part in regional and international initiatives aimed at combating cybercrimes. As we are aware, it is alarming that Africa suffers an estimated annual loss of $4 billion to cybercrime. Moreover, businesses across the continent are increasingly rating cybersecurity as a greater threat than physical security. This fact underscores the urgent need for collective actions to address this growing menace. I'm convinced that the deliberations and discussions over the last few days by this very erudite working group would strengthen the efforts towards a common front against this menace. Let us deliver on our commitments to the implementation of the recommendations made here and move beyond mere conversations. With the quality of expertise I'm seeing, I'm convinced that the capabilities to build a safer and a more secure digital future for Africa is here. In conclusion, let me specially appreciate the IG of Police, the Vice President Interpol Africa, the Interpol General Secretariat, the FCDO, the Interpol team in Nigeria, the Cybersecurity Center of the Nigerian Police Force, the African Cybersecurity Desk, all participating heads